What up, family? Long time no see. Had to tie up some loose ends. It's been raining the last few days, and y'all know I stay outside, so I don't really always have a place to, film or get my word out. A lot of topics, a lot of things that have been happening, and things I want to touch on. And I know I said I was gonna, post some forthcoming videos dealing with the subjects. So anything like I said, my bounce back game is superb. I've been dealing with a lot of detractors, a lot of distractions, people trying to keep me from getting in the way from me doing my business and what I'm here to do. So I'm on my job. I'm doing what I know and what I feel I'm obligated to do, but it's not even a job to me. This is not a job. This is a lifestyle. This is something that was given to me, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I told you before previously that I lost 3 females and stuff, and I was hurt up. There was a lot of drama. There was things going on. And, I got the 2 back, and I want to go into all those details. I mean, you can watch the videos, but basically, I did patch things up. Things are pretty much all patched up. Dealt with all the problems at hand, physically and spiritually, and things fell in their place. Like I said, put it on the Most High, and in the spirit, took care of business. Well, I did my thing as well. So we did the damn thing, so to speak. Not so to speak. I mean, we did. So anyhow, things are looking good. Feeling good. Feeling great this morning. Someone almost tried to throw me off the track, right? I mean, right in the morning, they attack. They come for the attack. So what I did, I got up out of there. I said, nope, not today. Get behind me, Satan. And I hit it. Pew! Like a bat out of hell. I would do anything for love. I would do anything for love. So anyhow, I kind of wanted to go into, I want to tell you kind of how I got in the position, the situation, and the lifestyle that I live. A lot of people who aren't in the know can be judgmental because they think like, oh, if you're homeless, you don't have a place to stay, you must have been a drug addict, you must have did bad by people, and whatever. It's always something negative for the person. They never think it's something positive, like someone was trying to get away from that type of stuff, trying to get away from toxic relationships, and you had to make a power move and remove yourself, as tough as it was, from friends, family, and whoever was keeping you down, because you realize, they say out of love, oh, I say this because I love you, because they want to give you information, but it's what they think's good, it's what they think's good for Kyle, not what is good for Kyle. They have good intentions, but good intentions pave the road to hell, right? So Kyle knows what's good for Kyle, and my mother and father in heaven know what's good for Kyle. The Spirit knows what's good for Kyle. So that's who I listen to. I listen to God. God tells me what's good for Kyle. And sometimes it sounds foreign to people on the outside, especially if they don't have that type of relationship. And the more you grow, and the more you come into line with the Spirit, and you listen to what the Spirit tells you, and you start following, what's going on, you start, because then you just get better at it. You're able to read signs, you're able to understand what's actually being said. And like I said, it may sound crazy, even downright insane to some people. Because I got one person, they said, you're so intelligent, you're good looking, you're smart, you have a lot of skills. And she says, I just don't understand why you live like this. Now, as I told you previously, some years ago, 2002, I lost my mother to cancer. My girlfriend at the time, I went out of town to mourn, see some of my family up north, and during that time, she had an abortion. We had found out she was pregnant after my mother had passed, and then when I went up north, out of town, she had an abortion. And I believe that was due from pressure from her mother because she was going through college. And, she didn't think it was a good idea for her to have a kid. It was going to, basically ruin her chances at a career, and so on and so forth. And also, the mother never really took a liking to me, really, because when I first met my girlfriend, whom I was with for 5 years at the time when this all happened, almost 5 years, like 4.5 years. It started off a rocky relationship with the mother. She never liked me right from the beginning because my girlfriend at the time, had already cut ties with her ex-boyfriend. Like, we dated and talked. I mean, we didn't even kiss for like 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. So it's like we didn't jump into it. She was very respectful. I was too. But, she didn't jump quickly into things. And like we had a great relationship. But the mother kind of I got badmouthed by the ex-boyfriend because he was still living at the house. They didn't, she hadn't kicked him out. But they were no longer together. So anyhow, he even thought that. I mean, what else are you gonna think? Like, oh, you're still my girlfriend, but as it was already over with, and I just happened to come along. I mean, that's how these things work. One door closes, another one opens. Anyhow, I believe she was unfaithful after that. Shortly after that period, I got into some trouble when I was younger. Like I said, mostly petty things. Possession of marijuana, driving a suspended license, which both stem from each other. You get caught with marijuana, then it's they suspend your license for 2 years. So this happened to me at like a young age, like 16 years old. Right. And eventually, after my mother passed, I got in a really hectic situation with the guy I was living with as a roommate, and we ended up getting a fight. I ended up getting hit in the back of the head with a TPX bat, and basically was under the influence of alcohol, and got in a car, and somebody, somebody was in the road. Actually, this was like in the middle of the night, and I was just trying to get out of there, and someone came into the road, and they got hit, and they died, and I didn't get charged with manslaughter. I went to prison. Originally, I had got 25 years for that because I had a sale of weed previously. And they I got 25 years, and I had to go back on appeal. I made a deal with God at one point during the whole time. I broke down. I just said, because I had prayed to go to prison. I mentioned this previously, and I said, relieve me of the burden. I don't want to really gloss over this, but like I said, I spoke on this in previous videos, and he answered the call, and I said, I'll tell the whole world, basically what you did for me. So that's the point I'm finally getting to now. Like, basically almost 20 years later, 16 years later, I'm finally getting to fulfill my part of the deal. And I'm happy to do it. I'm glad to do it, and I'm well equipped. Anyhow, let me just get a quick sip of water here. Get a little choked up, get a little emotional. Sometimes, it's memories and things kind of tug at my heartstrings. So, Ended up doing a 14-year sentence in prison. Did like 11 years, 11 months off of 11/11, which is interesting. And got out, and life wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I was always always had a lot of friends, big family. Had a great life. We may have been poor and all that stuff growing up, but I never knew. It was in my state of mind, the way I was raised by my single mother. I didn't know any of that stuff, and I still don't know any of that stuff. I still live a great life. People say, how can he be living a great life? How can he be so happy now? It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind and the spirit of God. Don't let them people detract you. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them talk you down. So let's get into it. Let's do it. So things weren't the same when I got out. The world had moved on, and I got left behind. All the childhood neighborhoods, I would go through, and I would just get this nostalgia. Where I remember I used to live over here, because we lived in the same area, but we lived in many different apartments and duplexes and townhouses and things like that growing up. But I just go right into all the memories. It was like no one was around anymore. Everyone had moved away or whatever. Family members and stuff. So things just weren't the same. I thought I was going to come back and it was going to be like celebration, and we're gonna start making reconnecting with everybody, and it didn't really work out like that. I was nervous about what was going to happen with me in my life while I was leaving work release. I came home with about 10 grand, so I had a little money in my pocket. I didn't come home, I didn't come out broke. 10,000 doesn't $10,000 isn't really a lot of money, and this is pre-inflation, but it's still that's not a lot of money. Anyhow, but I prayed on it. I thought about it, and God's got me. He's always got you, even if you don't pray. He's got you. It's good to pray because then you can direct and you can kind of send messages, but He already knows beforehand. But sometimes, like they said, a closed mouth don't get fed. Well, a closed mouth does get fed because you could pray on it, but just that's figuratively speaking. So it's like, people say you could write it down, you could speak it, you can express it any way. You can even do it in thought, just by thinking about it. And, it can and will manifest in some form or fashion. And like I said, you just got to be on the lookout, and you got to discern, and you got to see what's what for, what it really is. Because everything's not always what, like you can't judge a book by its cover, right? So, you just got to see it for what it is, and looks can sometimes be deceiving. And, and that works both ways. I've seen a lot of pretty girls who are ugly on the inside, as I'm sure there's been a lot of dudes who, for you women out there, for you ladies out there that, he's good looking, but when you meet him, he's got a trash attitude. He's, this, that, and the other, then vice versa. You meet people that, don't look like they're the best. They don't look like they're, doing too well, and then they're the sweetest people you'd ever meet. And, it's just, dirty, maybe, deformed, whatever. It's just, what I'm talking about. So, you never know what you're going to get. Life is like a box of chocolates. So I've always been, anyway, so as time went by, I was like, I just hope I can be all right. I'm going to get out. What am I going to do? I have a criminal record. How I'm going to get by, how I'm going to make a living. It's pretty scary. It's kind of intimidating. I mean, I have all the skills and everything to succeed, but a lot of times in this, technology age, people, they see blemishes, they see things in your history, they don't want to give you a chance. So like before you even get in the door, you're already cut off. From right from there. So anyway, I was going to this labor center where I lived at. I was, luckily my aunt and uncle let me stay with them for a little while, and I'll get into that. So anyway, I just go to this labor center, mostly for Spanish immigrants who come into the country. I'm like the only white guy in there. But anyway, I love the people. It's mostly Guatemalans, some Mexicans. And they're just really good people. I mean, still to this day, they treat me very good. They look out for me. A lot of these guys don't have anything. You know, they're homeless. They just came from another country, and they're, you know, so I had to, you know, talk to a guy about the other day because he was complaining about them. So anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked, but you know, I'm gonna stick up for people. So that's just how I do it. That's how I get down. Anyway, so he's, you know, he's got something going on in his own life that he has to deal with. So anyway, just so happens, like the first day I'm there, a guy comes in, you know, needs help with doing pools. He does pools, right? I'm like, oh, you know, that sounds like a cool job. You know, whatever. It's, you know, you just work for the day and they pay you cash at the end of the day. So end of the day goes by and he's like, you know, hey Kyle, you know, would you consider, you know, maybe working for me full time? You know, just work for the guy one day. And you know, I'm like, yeah. So, you know, that's like, right, just, you know, it's like a fell just right in my lap. And so again, I start, but he's like, it's only like 3 days a week, right? So that happens. That goes down. I start working for him, right? Now, usually the deal is, you know, so I didn't go back to the labor center for the next 2 days because that was on a Monday. So I work for him Tuesday. I work for him Wednesday. He says, you know, I'm going to pay you, you know, X amount of dollars. And he goes, you know, you stay on. He goes, you know, I'll give you a raise, you know, pretty quickly. You know, within a month. He goes, I'll give you like a $10 raise per hour, and then per day. And then, you know, he goes, I'll give you even more after that. Like, you know, basically every month I'm going to give you like a $10 raise, you know, for like 3 months, you know, so he's, you know, and the pool business is shady, just like many other businesses where you got guys that come, they talk a good game and they disappear and they take the money and run. So anyway, great guy, great dude. Gave him a chance. You know, I didn't let him know about my history at first, but then, you know, as soon as I got, you know, eventually as I got to know him, you know, you know, we got into our talks, and, you know, he understood, never held nothing against me, and treated me very well. So anyway, I go back on Thursday, and typically if you don't go to the labor center for a few days, or if you've worked the day previously, you get basically put to the back of the line. So I get in there, it's like 7 in the morning, and they call my name right off the jump. So I'm like, you know, I'm expecting really probably not even get any work that day. And anyhow, it was like, I said that. So yeah, so they call my name right away, and I'm like, I'm shocked, because I'm thinking I'm probably just gonna sit through the whole day and not you know, not get anything. And they, you know, they call me up there. It's a woman, and she says, you know, we seen you got pool experience. They said, you know, she does pools too, and she, you know, she needs a helper. So I said, cool, I'm on it. You know, so I go to work with her, and the day goes by, you know, and I find out basically the same situation where she needs help, right? But she works like 7 days a week at this point. She's working 7 days a week, and she's got a lot of accounts. And the guy she's working with is kind of, I don't really want to call him a slack, but you know, he's kind of slacking at this point. He's got some stuff going on in his own life that he can't really be that dependable. I mean, I guess he could, but you know, he's got things that he takes more serious than, I guess, than, you know, whatever. But I'm not, I don't want to get into that. That's not my, you know, that's not my business, or really the time or the place really to talk about it. Well, it is kind of my business, but in a certain way, because we're all involved. And anyway, you know, because this is like all 7 years ago. This is like 2017, 2018. So she says, oh, you know, hey, look, I could use some help. I said, well, listen, I already got pre-engagement. I work for another guy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But I said, if you'd like, you know, because I want to, you know, I want to get, you know, I need money, I need cash. You know, I want to try to get my own place. I want to get my stuff together. Oh, my license is suspended for life. So that was another thing that really had worried me about getting out, because like, how am I gonna get to work? How am I do all this? So, you know, I explained to all them that and the other. And so she's like, listen, you can work for me Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if you'd like. She goes, you don't have to work Sunday, or, you know, or even whatever. But I said, no, I'm like, I'm on it. I want to, I want to get it. I want to get it. So she says, great. So now I went from being worried about all this stuff happening to now I get out and I got a full work week, 7 days. So, I'm happy. And like I said, it's a fun job. Like I said, it gets hard the more you do. Like if you only do one pool, like, no, that's not really hard to do one pool. But, you do enough of them, you do 20, 25, especially in the hot Florida sun, you'll change your mind. And some of that stuff is a little bit harder than you think. And it takes some smarts. There's other things than just, vacuuming and netting. Like I said, you gotta learn chemicals, you gotta learn things about the systems, all kinds of things. But I had good teachers. I had, people who, taught me the game good. So, I got really good at it pretty quickly. I'm a very smart guy, basically whatever I delve into. I excel. I've always kind of been like that. It's something I'm interested in, or things of that nature. I do very well. It's always been like that since I was a young kid. It used to, never ceases to amaze me because you don't really know, but like ever since I was a child, like whatever I really put my mind to, or wanted to do, or said like I want to be good at that, like it happened, and it was like I would be, like not really in comparison to others, but other people would notice that, and they would say, hey, like you're like you're outstanding, or you're stellar, like you stick out from the crowd, and other people noticed that, and and it was not like a thing of jealousy, but it's just anyway, or it wasn't a thing of haughtiness on my part. It was just because it was kind of shocked, and I was just happy. I was just it's funny how things work out. And like I said, through years of reflection, being in prison, I did a lot of thinking, a lot of reading. So I've had the leisure, I should say, to read and educate myself, self-cultivate myself, and make myself the person I am today. So, however, long story short, I know I'm going into a lot of details, things, but I want I kind of want you to understand some of these things. We got a little monarch. I think that's a monarch butterfly right there. Can you see it? Probably not, but pause and zoom up or something. I don't know. So things aren't what they were. The world had moved on without Kyle, and Kyle starts going into a depression. He starts seeing things aren't what they were. Friends ain't really his friends. Family ain't really his family. They don't want to come see me, and like I'm kind of limited because again I don't have the driver's license. I can't move like I want to. I can't go out and pursue a female. Try to get a girlfriend. Maybe possibly start a family, something like that. After being gone for years and years. And it's just, this thing's just starts slowly, tearing at me, all these things happening. And, and so, I come from a family of drinkers. So as soon as I'm out, it's like daily drinking. I mean, they are, I'm not at first. I'm just, so anyway, I got to be around us. And, so eventually I do start drinking. And the more I drink, the more this depression starts to set in. But I'm really self-medicating to try to deal with it. I'm a strong person, but it's like everyone's got a breaking point. It's like, you keep on getting these, attacks. And, it's, I'm getting tag teamed. I'm getting, I'm basically getting jumped from every angle. The friend realm, the family realm, the worldly realm. I can't, it's really hard to make something happen. And so all I'm doing is working. So eventually, after about 2 years, I'd managed to save up about $40,000. I had, I think it was $39,900 in the bank or something like that. It was the most money I ever possessed, and I earned it. Off my work ethic, but I wasn't happy at all, and I wasn't even spending the money on anything. I was just basically I'd buy dinner and and beer, and that was basically all I spent my money on. And so I was like, I'm only spending like $10-$20 a day. Everything else right in the bank. And I want to go enjoy myself. I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor, and I'm not able to do it because I'm not happy. Because there's things I want that money can't buy. Friendship, companionship, family, love. But what I didn't realize at the time, I was, this was the tear down. He says, I'm going to tear you. God tells me He's going to tear me down. He's going to build me back up. That came later on. So basically, some things went down, and I had to end up moving in with my boss lady. I stopped working for the other guy at one point because his son came back into the picture. So I said, it'd be better if he could, work with his son versus me. I didn't want to be stepping on the son's toes. I felt he deserved a chance. The dad didn't really want to see me go because I was such a great worker. But also the boss lady, she was struggling because the other guy was not showing up now for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday work. So I felt, and she was a lot older than the other gentleman I worked for. So I felt like I could be more of a help to her, working full time for her rather than just the 4 days out of the week. Because now he's cramping our style. Right now we're even more work. Like every time I show up, there's like more work. There's like, oh, we only had 80 pools. Now we got 90 pools. This guy didn't, whatever. So I said, let me get out of here. Some things went down. And I just said, I can't take it no more. And they left the house, and I packed all my stuff, threw it in the truck, and got out of Dodge. And it was a very hard decision to make. I posted a video of We the Chosen Jordan video previously, talking about, being by yourself is the best decision I ever made. And it was very difficult, and it hurt me to my core. But I had to do it because, I was starting to get a little nasty. I couldn't, especially when I was drinking, but I couldn't put up with the BS and just keep the nice ties and pleasantries up. But I know people are not telling the truth and lying to my face, and just really not with it, or or they're to conform to the world. Me, I'm like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, I feel like I can do anything. And, I don't like to let things prevent me from doing that. But now I see these obstacles are all in my way. Like I said, the fake friend and family news media, right? The fake family and friends news network. Everyone, like I said, everyone wants to tell you what you should do, but they never walked in my shoes and never been in my position. People even wondered, like, how did you get through this? How did you go through all the years in prison? I can never do it. I said, well, you never know what you can do until you have to. And like I said, I was tough as nails all the way through. Never shed a tear, and just I had to be tough because I didn't have it. I was by myself. My family looked out me. They looked out for me a little bit. Not how I needed it to be, but I went in originally with a little money this is when I first went to prison. So anyway, but they did look out for me, but not the way Kyle needed to be taken care of. Like if I had my mother still, I wasn't raised by my father, so things like that. Maybe the outcome would have been different. Well, I know it would have. However, so no one's gonna be there like Mom Duke. Or, in your case, it might be your father or your grandparent or something like that. But usually, always, hopefully, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people can relate to that. So, like I said, I had to get out of Dodge, and it just got worse and worse because now I'm by myself. I'm by myself, and I'm in my thoughts all day. And I was pretty quiet in prison for years and years. I hung out with a lot of people, but I didn't never really talked about my business or things that, you know, are on my mind. I just kind of dealt with those things on my own, and, you know, got through it, and just, you know, it was more tough, and it was kind of just put it to the back burner, you know. And like I said, now when I got out of prison, that's when the to quote Michael, but the other guy, YouTube guy, I post, you know, that's when shift hit the fan. So shift hits the fan, you know, when you know, that means it goes everywhere, splatters all over the place. And you know, like, so it just gets worse and worse. And, you know, I'm still on Facebook with everybody at this point. And you know, so you know, I you know, I start talking, I start getting vocal about things I normally wasn't vocal about. Like, I used to get traction, I used to get interactions, likes, you know, comments, you know, talking back and forth with everybody. But as soon as I really started, you know, get things off my chest and speak my truth, I mean, all of a sudden, you know, likes start disappearing, comments start disappearing. All of a sudden, you know, it got to a point that I was in a world of my own. No likes, no comments, no interaction. You know, probably muted. You know, they don't want to block you, so they mute you, right? And just things started getting funny. Things started getting really funny. You know, at first there was, you know, there was a few things where people were, you know, kind of talking behind my back, or making posts, not talking directly to me, but I know it was for me. Like, one woman, a friend of the family for years and years, who was like an aunt to me. You know, she was always posting, you know, spiritual stuff and all the time. And I noticed when I started vocalizing things, she started, her posts got a little bit more angry. So she was kind of talking to me indirectly, and I could pick that up, because it would be in relation to things I had said. And they're like, you know, why are you saying this stuff? You're like, why are you, you know? I said, it has to be said. You know, I'm not going to, you know, let people keep on continuing to walk all over me, and deny my existence, and deny what I got to say and my issues. And they say, oh, well, we told you to do this, we told you to do that. You know, those things aren't, you know, they might work for you, but they're not going to work for me. Because, you know, number one, I'm not going to settle for less. I'm not going to accept the nonsense. You know, I've done with, you know, I've lost enough time in this life, and I didn't even lose time. I took advantage of my time, and I improved myself. You know, I've been through, like I said, I've really been through the trenches, been through a lot. And I made it out on top for a reason, right? So it's, you know, it's, and I had to do it. I had to do it. Kyle had to do it, and no one else. So, well, I'm running out of memory, so I might have to make a part 2 of this video, and we'll get more down to the nitty gritty. However, but through grace of God, deal with him, you know, he's, you know, it's, you know, you're working in tandem, your teammates. Like, you know, Chavi says, you know, you get your spiritual team. So, you know, we're all working in tandem, but you got to do the work too. You know, they're not going to do all the work. You know, I mean, if you didn't, I think things would still eventually work out for you, but it's going to take a lot longer, if you're an unwilling participant. But if you know, you fight and you do what you got to do, you're going to come out on top every single time. There's no doubt about that. Now, you know, the more time that goes by, you know, like I said, you get more experience, and you get better and better at it as you go along. What's up, man? Chilling, man. So as time goes by, you know, you'll get better and better. And then, like I said, you know, some people say, like, oh, it just looks like you do things with ease, like, you know, it just comes to you naturally. It's like playing chess or playing poker or something like that. You know, someone who's never really played the game, is not gonna be able to sit down to somebody like, you know, like I said, you know, I play spades, I play pinochle, I play all these things, but you're not going to come and be able to beat me in a game like that with no experience, because I might have played this game, 10,000 times. You might have played it 100 times. There's no way you can really compete, right? Scrabble, that's my game. You're gonna get wrecked. You're gonna get wrecked. I'm gonna drag you. You know what I mean? But I'm not cocky with it. I'm good. But I mean, there is a talk shift game. Especially with people experienced. But it's healthy competition. So, I mean, some people do get in their feelings sometimes, especially if money is involved or something like that. Because games aren't really too interesting. Unless there's some kind of incentive. You got to have a dog in the fight somehow. Anybody who plays poker knows what I mean. You gotta make it interesting. Even if it's just something small. People say, oh, you shouldn't be gambling and stuff like that. I mean, it's not even gambling, because you're not really doing it. You're not really doing it for the money. You're doing it to pass time, to get better, and to enjoy yourself. So anyhow, yeah, I'm starting to get vocal on Facebook, starting to get some slack. Then everything basically falls off, right? Everything falls apart, and but I keep going. I keep on trucking. I turned my post to public at one point, because I said, you know what, I'm gonna get this information out one way or another. Because I seen Trump, kind of like what he was doing with the news media, when everything happened, and so to bypass that, he used to go on Twitter and spit his game from there. He said, I'm not gonna let these other people, say and do. And whether you love him or hate him is not the point. Just trying to illustrate my point is that, I was sick of people talking behind my back, telling other people, because they're doing private messages, they're talking on the phone and saying, oh, Kyle did this, or Kyle said this, or why is he doing that? I had a great aunt that had some money, and she was the last of the Mohicans, so to speak, and basically the rest of the family was going to get a big inheritance, and all the family was talking about it. And I was like, barely everyone knows this woman, because she stayed on their side of the country, and no one had ever really seen her, and they're just basically waiting on her to die so they can get that cash. And that did not sit well with me at all. So that was another thing I spoke about. I said, these people don't even know this woman. They're blood related, and they're basically waiting on someone to pass away, to get some financial gain. It doesn't get more sick than that, in my opinion. I mean, there might be some other sick things, but that's not kosher. That's not kosher. So I did not dig that at all, and I let it be known. People said, oh, they try to say, oh, like I was a liar, and why would you say this? And I said, I got to be real. I said, screw that money. I ended up getting cut out of the inheritance too. Cut me out of the inheritance, which is crazy, but anyhow, like I said, screw that money. I didn't need that money. My inheritance, that ain't my inheritance. My inheritance is like Bob Marley, my riches is life forever. So, and love and abundance and everything else that comes with it. So that's my inheritance. Had I took that inheritance, I would have settled for less. Had I not spoke my mind and dead with the Spirit came on me and told me to say and do, there's a good chance I might not be here. Who knows what what could have happened. But everything happens for a reason, and sometimes it takes days, sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years to come to these revelations, or before we receive the revelations, or come to the conclusions, or you see how the game plays out. It's just like a soap opera or something like that, or like a murder mystery, or any kind of book is where things are going on. You're seeing people are playing chess. and you don't really see how the outcome. You just kind of see the moves, and you know, as the story progresses, then you start seeing, oh, why he did this, why he did that. You know, you ever played chess? And for all my chess players out there, you know, you might have these spectators on the sideline, and they see you make a move, you know, and they're like shaking their head. You see them shaking their head like you made a bad move or a wrong move. And then, you know, you just kind of look at them like, and maybe it fools the opponent, or maybe the opponent's aware, but a couple more moves ahead, you know, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 moves down, you know, plays down the road, all of a sudden they see what was being done. Right now they see, oh, bruh, now they're congratulating you. They're saying, damn, he's like a, you know, that was a masterful play. I didn't even see it coming. The whole time, been setting the whole thing up, setting them up for the kill, so to speak, right? And so, you know, people will gain a new perspective on you when they see what type of player you are and who you are. But they don't, you know, they might not see it right in the beginning. You know, like they might, you know, he don't know how to play, he don't know what he's doing. You know, that's just their inexperience. You know, anyone who's a true, and this could be for any sport, any game, life in general, is inexperienced people are quick to usually, you know, make a judgment call prematurely. While a more experienced player can watch and see if, you know, if it's, you know, if someone's setting you up for to you know, steal your queen, or to you know, get your rooks. I might trade a piece. You know, they thought the piece was free. Oh, you know, oh man, you just left your rook right there. Can't believe you did that. But they don't know you're setting them up to, you know, to get their rook, bishop, and, you know, or whatever. You know, so you got to make a sacrifice, right? And it's got to be pre-planned. It's got to be strategized. And again, that comes with experience. Understand how the game's played. And another thing what they say about chess is, this can be you know, relatable to life and everything else, is a more advanced player plays against a less advanced player. A lot of guys won't do that because it says that it brings their game down. Because iron sharpens iron. But if you put iron against, you know, limestone, iron's going to tear right through the limestone, right? So, but now the limestone can't sharpen the iron, so the iron will get dull, right? So you got to keep your game sharp, and if you want to be at the highest level, you got to compete at the highest levels. But you know, so you always want to try to seek out someone, you know, that's better than you, and try to learn from them, and that's going to improve your game. And at the same time, if you're a more advanced player, I mean, it's good to give you know, give people some rack, give some people some tries, but you know, you got to keep your game sharp. So you know, let them play in the kiddie pool, and then, you know, while you go, then you know, go back in the deep waters with sharks. Because if not, you know, them sharks are still getting bigger and bigger. They're still eating everything in sight. So they're getting stronger while you may be getting weaker. So you want to keep your game strong in all avenues. And that's basically how this whole thing has been playing out. You know, people find out, like, oh, they find out later on, oh, he was telling the truth. Oh, they were saying this because of this. You know, they you know, a lot of my family was caught up with image, caught up with looking good. You know, like, you know, the IG or the Facebook life. You know, everything smiles, everything's happy, everything's this and that. I was like the only one, you know, like posting my L's. You know, I'm the only one like telling non-glory stories. Just making sure this thing's still recording. My phone's cracked up, so I can't really see some of the stuff. Yeah, so I'm like, you know, everything's not all smiles with me. I mean, you know, I smile a lot. I'm a happy dude. I got a lot to be happy about. You know? Like I said, I gave all the glory to God. He gave it right back to me. That's what I tell other people. I said, you know, but that, you know, that's, and you know, like I said, and I'll tell you about where I got my true happiness from. And I think I'm going to stop this video for the moment, because I don't want to turn off and then be talking and it's not recording. So I'm going to post it, and I'm going to return with a part 2. So we'll see you then. Thanks for listening thus far, and there's more to come, and great insights, not into my life, but that can be applied to your own, and just, you know, it should be pretty interesting. All right, so hope y'all stick with me. Love y'all. Peace.